following is a conversation with Jacob Honig. Jake is a dear friend of mine, and I liken our dynamic to maybe that of Joe Rogan and Duncan Trussell, Jake reminding me of Duncan, who's kind of my favorite out of the two. I say this because that oftentimes the conversation is wandering and silly, yet it can be deeply vulnerable and courageous and meaningful at other points. I think we strike a pretty good balance, and you'll see it evolve as we do more episodes together. Jake is many things, including a musician, a thespian, a philosopher, a national boxing champion, and a recovering George Washington University international affairs major. He has since pivoted into his own entrepreneurial venture of being a regenerative hemp farmer. He is co-founder and co-owner-operator of the CBG Gurus, who grow a variety of medicinal hemp products, which will be linked in the description below. Most importantly, Jake is a phenomenal person. He's courageous, humble, and kind. I'm your host, Will, and I welcome you to the very first episode of Emotional Side Quest.
Vibes.
Yeah. But anyways, this game is called... Oh, I gotta close it. It's called Where Should We Begin by Esther Perel. Basically, it's a bunch of like story prompt cards. It's a game of stories. They got prompts on them. Typically, we would sit across from each other, and you'd have a deck, and I'd have a deck. But as this is virtual, I figured like I could shuffle through and ask.
You be the deck master. You can be both of our. You can be my hands.
Yeah, and then
and mine, thine eye.
For each prompt, like you can answer, and then I'll answer. So we'll both answer the prompt.
Cool.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. If you come across any card and you're uncomfortable with the question, feel free to say skip. You're not obligated to answer anything.
All right.
All right. You ready for the first one?
Yes, sir.
Something I believe but haven't said aloud. I gotta think about this too.
I feel like, at least part of me feels like I have to like become one with death and like the nature of like suffering. To understand my ultimate self and like reunite with my inner power.
Does that also mean that you have to relate to like the lighter aspects that are the counter nature of those things? Or
yes.
Is it okay. It's kind of like a fully embodied understanding of experience.
Yeah. I would say so, but yeah, it's interesting. Like saying that out loud, like that's kind of how I'm feeling and like approaching things in a way, and I think it means that I have more to explore there before I am in death, before I kind of am able to like lift the veil and recognize the emptiness of true nature in death. But I do feel like finding the emptiness of true nature in life is also like in a way equally difficult for me. But I feel like the nature of death somehow is going to help me unlock that aspect of like finding the emptiness of the true nature of life. Would you say that kind of language resonates with you? Before we go on to your answer, maybe we,
the emptiness of death Restate.
Like the emptiness of the nature. Like it has no nature of itself. Its nature is empty.
What, death's nature?
Yeah.
What nature?
Well, everything essentially.
That is the book that we are
Like
currently.
all conceptualization.
Yeah, all
That's kind of what I'm
conceptual.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Right, because the concept of water doesn't have the attributes of actual physical water, right? Like the word and concept of water isn't wet, isn't hydrating, isn't blue, but the direct experience of water is all those things. Yeah.
And just like in themselves as well, they're empty of like true nature. All of life's essences, but also like the essence of things, like what is matter. Like there's kind of in many different ways, not just like that's like one sense of it.
Yeah, I think like I finished the book yesterday, and I think that my understanding so far, I need to like reread and like take better
Yeah,
notes,
totally. Yeah.
meditate more. But there's only one thing that has like essence or existence, and that isn't empty, and that thing is beyond conceptualization. And it was really interesting because
Yeah,
today I was listening to. So
I agree. Yeah.
I finished the five the progressive stages of on meditations on emptiness.
Yeah.
Um, and today when I was running, I was listening to the Upanishads, and it talked about the different levels of consciousness from like a Vedic lens. And the last one, just like in the book, which you'll get to in chapter 5, is beyond concepts, beyond reasoning, beyond thought. Like it's a level of direct experience. It's beyond the thinking mind.
Conceptualization at all. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like me being very tied up in my conceptualization, like it's hard for me to like comprehend that because it's very
Yeah.
foreign. But I guess I would say I have faith that there's a possibility, no matter how small, that one day I will create the sufficient conditions to potentially realize that, because it seems to be like a shared realization across multiple thinkers, multiple scholars, and their experience. So, I mean, I can only go on trust or faith that it's real. But if multiple people in multiple traditions are saying that it's real, I have less reason to doubt them than I have to believe them, because I have their word to believe them on, and I have no argument to doubt them because I
It
have.
seems like they kind of converge also at the idea that it's like an empty space.
Well, it's empty like at the level of conception because it transcends conception. So it's like it's
Yeah.
empty at one level because you can't see what it is using a conceptual lens. But after that conception, the direct experience
What
is
if
just
it's
very
just like a
clear.
punchline? That's what I was thinking about. You ever thought about that?
What?
If like you really meditate and you go all the way deep into your subconscious, deep like inside of yourself, and like what you find there at the center is like a sign, like a picket sign or something, and it's like painted on, it's like lol gotcha or something like that, and you just see it so vividly, and it's just right there. It's just that's it.
Damn, dude,
And then you go,
you cut out right at the build off of if you go deep in yourself and you imagine yourself there. What was the answer? Like I was so wrong.
that's
I was
great.
just like, don't leave me like that, bro. Like,
I that's funny because I should have come up with something better, but I was thinking like some stupid painted sign, or like some picket sign, that's like well, gotcha. And then like you can like, knowing that that's what you find. I don't know, maybe that unlocks some beautiful powers within you and like makes you, able to, enjoy the world, or
yeah, because the universe
uh,
would be a comedy in that
as a
setting,
bit of a
right?
joke. And then you can kind of start your own religious tradition and tell people that like, they're gonna find all this shit and whatever,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
it's just the sign.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, I'd like to think that they hopefully they got their trolling in some other way. fundamentally. I think the pony people get trolled enough for their taste. So
Yeah, I agree.
I'm kind of hungry right now too.
I feel like
Anyway.
medieval trolling is like, that'd be an interesting PhD paper.
Medieval trolling,
Yeah, or like ancient, even before that, ancient trolling.
ancient trolling,
Like, when did trolling become a concept?
to
Strictly
just
speaking.
like troll somebody.
Yeah. Like, is that an innate human quality? Is that primordial?
Dude, it feels like some kind of brother relationship thing.
Yeah, I guess like siblings and gestures in court were like the OG trolls, and now it's just fucking anyone with a cell phone.
And yeah, I guess
All right,
trolling.
I'm gonna go. Something I
Next,
believe but haven't said out loud.
yeah, I went deep. I tried to go deep on that one. Well, yeah, give me someone here.
Yeah, I think like based on what I've been reading and like my experience, so a lot of like the Hindu, Vedic, and like Buddhist traditions are trying to shift the center, not the center of gravity, but like the center of your identity from this person who exists in this world today as a result of all these things. Um, Shift yourself from the person to the observer of the experience, and then from the observer to kind of experience itself, and then like to the Atman or whatever. To
Ah,
realize,
and then the last part, or whatever.
to God or whatever. Um, but and I say whatever, not because I don't believe that God's real, but because I'm not in a position to comment on the nature of God. But something I believe that I haven't said out loud is that like you transcend the cycle of birth and rebirth, and you transcend death and reach immortality, not by like altering your body, but by altering your center of identity to a larger identity that transcends your human container that you're born into. So when you're identifying with that energy that permeates the universe, with like a non-dualist perspective of God or with the Atman, when like, have you seen the egg video by Kierkegaard?
Kierkegaard.
Yeah, I don't know how to fuck to say it, but you seen
Um.
the egg? It was written by Andy Weir, and it's
Yes,
like,
I love the egg by Andy Weir.
right. So that video, right, where you're the same consciousness being reborn into different people at different times, different containers, so you can
Sure,
understand
yeah, it's the
the
same one.
universe, right?
Yeah.
That, I think, when you not just like intellectually understand that, but like internally identify and internalize that, that's the moment where you transcend the cycle of birth and rebirth, because you're identifying something that is undying and infinitely existing. So
Uh-huh.
that's kind of like a recent thought that I've had.
Yeah,
So you can reach
that's
like,
cool. I feel like I identify kind of similarly with like my interpretation, at least, of like the text and kind of how I like to vibe with it as well.
yeah, when I'm at my best, I identify like that, and just many, many, many times in which I forget and get really tied down to my
Yeah.
realness. But all right, next card. You ready?
Yes.
This one's not a fun card. A blind spot I have is
Tend to get way tied up into whatever I happen to be doing.
Say more.
Fundamentally unwilling to commit. I
Yeah, you're
have a tough time committing to different practices especially in my life, different rituals, different habits.
Why do you think that is?
I think my mind is a little bit scattered. And like that kind of reflects in my personality and my interests also, of being a little all over the place. But I also think that like I'm afraid of stepping up and not having what it takes to like continue stepping up and rising. I'm afraid of like maybe falling or getting hurt or breaking or like not achieving what people or like I expect, something great.
What would happen if you didn't achieve what you or other people expect?
Fundamentally, nothing. What would happen? I could like really say that right now at this moment with like some conviction. Like that's like truly I think how I feel a little bit about it. It's like their view's not important of me, and like truly if I gave my all and like did that, like that's kind of where I am. Like I'm afraid I'm not going to give my all and like do everything that's asked or needed of me to succeed. Like it's like the like jumping, feeling like I'm jumping the high jump bar, but the bar's invisible. Like I don't know where they set it. It's just gotta fucking jump as high as I goddamn can and hope and pray and hope that is enough. And like sometimes I feel like my life's passing me by, and like I'm, you know, as I get a little bit older, and like sometimes I don't know, as things I would say things become more important as far as like the decisions I'm able to make in my life have become more important as I've become an adult. Yeah, shit's changed.
What do you feel like is scarier, jumping towards an invisible high bar or life passing you by?
Life passing me by.
Guess that leaves you with a answer. Right, dog? Because like if you go like all in, you just fucking go all out at this fucking high bar, and it doesn't work out, and you crash and burn. Fuck it, like move somewhere.
Yeah, I don't
Over, like,
get.
move to
Yeah.
Hawaii, start again. Like,
Well, yeah, no, that's the thing. It's like, who are they to set the fucking bar for me? That
yeah.
that's kind of where that landed.
Do you feel like other people have set the bar for you more so than yourself?
No, I used to in the past, but not anymore.
I resonate with that. All right. A blind spot that I have is I'm way too controlled by like my senses and like impulses on like a physical.
I'm sorry.
No,
I've been wanting to do something stupid since the beginning of
you're good, dude.
I
You
got
can do
on,
something
and I was like,
stupid. I don't want.
"Oh man, it's a Freudian slip, man." I was like, "I know I'm on mushrooms. It's gonna come out." Like I let it. I've been okay. I'm glad that came out now.
You're good, dude.
I'm sorry. That was rude. I'm the same fucking way. It'd be hypocritical for me not to act like it, but continue.
No, I want this podcast to be something where people can be like real, and if like that's coming up for you, like fucking let it out.
You're too drawn up in your like in like your physical experience of the world, and like you're just like too sensitive about stuff, or like what? I don't
I think
get it.
like trying to like avoid pain and move towards pleasure is like something that I consistently
You're
do.
a hedonist.
And that like
Well, yeah, we all do that shit. In what ways do you do it? Like, I'm rolling myself a nice fat spliff hole right here. What are you up to,
I have a nice Hawaiian
Mr.
locally made
Hedonist?
seltzer or cider, and it's quite great. It's dragon fruit.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
It's called Killer Dragon.
Kill a dragon.
Yeah, it's got some dope art on it. But yeah, I love this brand. I love their stuff. But yeah, like I don't
Big
know, like
brand guy. You like Leo brands.
yeah, I love seltzer or fucking cider, and I love mead. Like when I was in DC, they had Charm City mead out of
Dude, needs
Baltimore.
fire.
It's
Yeah,
so
I'm
good,
not even
dude.
gonna cap right now. I'm
Oh my
like
god,
hedonism. If there's any reason to be hedonistic in this life, it is
it's
for
mead.
me. And they figured that shit out in the OG days. They knew
There
the
was like
mead. They knew
there
the
was
mead
like
lifestyle was
there was like
meant for them.
there was elderberry mead. There was like lemongrass mead. There was like
The
honey.
men of mead. A men of many meads. We're gonna try to meet up. So our actually side quest. Actually emotional side quest, because this is pretty heavy. But our beekeeper is fucking a recovering alcoholic, so we cannot make mead with him. But we're probably gonna fucking try and booze up some of his honey this coming season.
That's funny.
Sorry, Joe, but I know
I
he's
mean,
cool
I'm
with it.
sure he'll like appreciate what you guys are doing, even if he can't partake. Like when I go around the neighborhood and smoke
No,
weed,
no, yeah,
I appreciate it. I
he's
can't
that kind of
partake.
guy. He's that kind of alcoholic for
Yeah,
sure. He's that kind of alcoholic.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, like back to the prompt card, a blind spot that I have is just like yeah, like fulfilling sensory, like sense impulses and avoiding pain and pursuing pleasure. Uh, Alcohol is definitely like an emotional comfort blanket, which is like been better than weed was for me or like opioids before that, but definitely something I want to cut out eventually. Um,
So
Cat, but yeah.
I want to ask you a clarifying question, but I can't quite pin down yet what to ask. So what the fuck would you ask yourself next? Well, I keep thinking of something to say that's more insightful than your own thoughts.
I guess just like knowing that that's a blind spot and you know it because you just stated it. Like, what are you doing about it? And if you're not doing anything about it, like, where's the block? Like, why is that? You know
Yeah.
it's a
So you're like
problem.
trying to be a little less about the passion of the senses. So like, what are you gonna do about that to like either kind of challenge your comfort of the senses, or like as a practice, basically? Like, how are you gonna make that part of you?
Well, it's been like multiple things. So I've been trying to like fast more consistently. And that's been nice. Although this week I failed every single day, but you know, I'll get back on the horse. It's all right.
You're
Uh,
trying to fast. It's
yeah, I'm trying to fast. I would also say like cutting down on sugary drinks and like doing more tea or water. I say as I'm drinking a cider. Um, I'm trying to cook more instead of doing like shitty processed food. I just put in the microwave, like cooking like vegetables. Got a lot of fresh vegetables recently. Trying to like put less salt and less um, like shoyu in my food, and just like more vinegar. And what are some other things that I'm doing? Trying to like cut down on porn usage, which
why more vinegar?
because vinegar doesn't have so much salt, so it's not like as inflammatory for you. And things taste really good when you put salt on them, but like vinegar,
Salt's like good sea salt's pretty good for you, from what I understand, though, as far as getting your mineral trace elements and stuff.
yeah, like from that perspective, but it still is, I would imagine, inflammatory, and so it's like a balance. But meow, I'm trying to do like less
I feel
caffeine.
like you could eat a pretty decent amount of salt and be pretty like all right.
Yeah, but I feel like in our modern diets, like we consume so much salt, like as it is.
Well, if you buy like fast food or like other people's food, yeah.
I've been cutting down on fast food. That's been good. But the barrier to fixing it, I think, has been like the true barrier to fixing like that emotional comfort blanket has been like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm not working enough. I feel like I'm so bored
Yeah.
and so underutilized. That's a great word. I've never used that word before, but I feel so underutilized that I feel like compelled to drink to cope with that. And I'm really excited because I'm supposed to be starting a new job soon, and hopefully I'll be more utilized and won't have that feeling as much.
Yeah.
I
Keep
just feel like
utilizing yourself though through meditation. With like your studies in
that's what
that
I've been doing.
and
Yeah,
like
yeah. I've been like running a lot more. I just did like a 9.5 mile run, and that's the biggest run I've been on in a couple of years. And like I ran today again.
I saw that, yeah.
I've been reading a lot of scripture recently, a lot of Upanishads, a lot of stuff like that. I've been meditating a lot more recently, so I'm trying. It's just like, a lot of what your life is like where you put your energy into work, and like I was listening to
Yeah.
this episode of Healthy Gamer on YouTube, and he's like, yeah, like self-love is great, but like it doesn't work for a lot of people because a lot of people are like trying to build a life that's like worth living and that they're proud of, and it's hard to love yourself, and that you're like constantly being underutilized or underperforming. So it's like performing or utilizing yourself up to a level where you can authentically have self-love, and like that's what I'm working on right now. It's like building a life worth living, I would say. And I'm
Word.
optimistic. I
Yeah,
know
it's
it's
hard
coming,
work. It's a
but
struggle.
in the meantime,
I feel like I could relate to that struggle. Yeah, cheers, man. I feel the same way with where I'm at, and um, that's like kind of what the ice baths do for me in a way. That's one way. And again, trying to do more fasting. I was thinking about doing it this weekend. It would be a good time, honestly.
Yeah.
But I think I'm at least gonna have breakfast. But I'm really hungry right now too. I gotta eat something.
I feel like
What's the
fasting
next
and
word?
tripping isn't a good combo. Like you gotta wait till you're not tripping to start fasting.
Haha. Been there, done that. Yeah, it's usually not a fun combo. Not
All right.
fun.
Okay, I got another one for you.
Give it 2 minutes. Give it to me now.
I'm gonna read it, and while you're thinking about it, I'm gonna let this cat out of this room because he does not want to be in here. Okay.
Okay. And while you're out of the room, I'm gonna cook myself breakfast dinner.
A dream I've lost hope for.
Oh, that's not cool. You can't just walk out of the room after saying that. That's ridiculous.
I didn't walk out of the room. I was just like opening the door.
I'm going to fucking cook food.
Okay.
How do I even answer that question? A
I don't know,
dream
man.
lost hope for. Like becoming a firefighter. Like
Yo, same,
fucking
dog. Oh my god.
say.
All right, that's
I
that
could
question.
send
What do
you
you got?
this. Alright, that's funny.
That's hilarious. Yeah, same, literally.
That's really funny. I truly until the second that came out of my mouth I didn't even realize the implications of that. But yeah, I don't know, when I was young, like I don't know, for some reason I wanted to be a firefighter, even though I had this experience where I met the firefighters for the first time and they scared the fuck out of me. They scared me so bad. Yeah, so much. In the full gear, so scary. So scary. So I
Like
don't even know why I would fuck with them so heavy like that
they're
after
like
it's such an experience.
they're astronauts from hell because their astronaut suits can withstand the flames of hell.
Dude, they're crazy. They're crazy out there. Yeah. Astronauts of hell.
Oh, this is a good one. If I could choose the way I'd die, I would pick.
A dream I've lost hope for. It's a
You
dream
go
you've
back to that.
lost hope for.
You can
That's
go
like
back to
so
that.
relevant to some people. I'm holding on to my dreams right now, I guess. Thank you very much. That is like how I
You're
feel
too
about
young
it.
to not. Like we're both
Yeah,
too young.
yeah, we got hopes. We got dreams. We out here living life. I know how kind of things go. I know how it go. A little bit. Sometimes. We got the fire. They can't match us. So I'm all right. Till my next therapy session. Anyway. Emotional side quest. New card. More food.
Are you weekly or bi-weekly with your therapy?
I'm weekly. I'm every week.
So it should be at least.
I'm a special case. I'm on the edge.
Ooh, this
I
is a
need
good
that.
one.
I need that special case. Yeah, what? Hit me with it.
The kindest thing anyone has ever done for me.
Oh, no way. That's crazy. Yo,
I gotta think about that too.
For me, just me. Like, not is like the nicest thing that that's hard. That's hard.
Kindest thing anyone has ever done for me.
Anyone's ever done. It's so hard. It's so tough. I feel like you can't like just to weigh the kind of things that people have done for me against each other is such a weird thing. But like one thing that did come up for me is like my friend Ragini like stayed in touch with me a lot during COVID, and like when I was like just like really depressed and like not having it, and she like reached out to me all the time, like pretty consistently. Just be like, hey. And yeah, that meant a lot. Like I want to be really grateful about it. I also had this, just like the thought that came to me is like that's not everybody, you know, who receives that text. Like really, it means a lot, you know, or whatever. Always. For that, yeah, like that was just one thing.
I think for me, like my struggle with this question is like, what defines kind? Like the first thing that came into my head is like how much my mom has helped me with like student loans, and she's lent me like 10K. I'm like in 10K personal debt.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was kind of thinking like she's your mom, you know? Like my mom got C-section for me, but like she also saved her life probably from that shit, or like at least didn't have to give birth to me.
Well, that's my question is like
I think I was flipped around though. I was something weird.
Yeah, my guts are flipped. My appendix is on my other side. My whole guts are twisted.
Oh, that's wild. No, I meant like upside down in the womb or something like that.
Yeah, but my question is like on one level, it feels like kindness that she's forgiven my student debt and like lent me some money, and on the other level, it's like if I wasn't her kid, like is that more the obligation of a mother and less of like being kind to Will because he's Will? I don't really know. But and like on the top of my head, like that's the kindest thing because it's like reduced financial stress in my life.
Yeah.
For a degree that I feel like was not at all nearly valuable for how much we paid for it and totally got scammed. But the other thing that just feels the kindest in some ways is like just like sometimes like when Adam reaches out over text and just asks how I'm doing.
Yeah.
Very similar to your answer. Like that just means a lot to me.
Yeah, like I have a hard time thinking about kind things. My dad's done a lot of really nice things for me. I gotta give him credit.
Yeah.
Sean's done some very kind things for me as well.
For me, like my uncle like housed me this summer, and that was very, very kind. And I know that was difficult for them, and like my stepdad, I'm grateful for that.
That's dope.
My dad like housed me when I got out here initially, and that was very kind. Even if it was very painful on multiple levels.
Yeah, he still had you back there.
Possibly.
More or less, he let you
Not.
sleep there, so
Yeah,
he
he
wasn't
had
that
my back.
corrupted of a soul.
No, he had my back, but I don't think he would do it again.
Oh shit, that's savage.
But yeah, we're not talking now. I left the doorway for communication open, but he hasn't taken it up. So that's
You're not talking to him for a little bit.
no. I'm willing to talk, but he's taking up space, so that's fine.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I don't know. Who else has been kind? I feel like I've had a boss be really kind to me recently. A new boss, that's been really helpful.
Yeah. How have they been?
Just like really understanding of my experience and like how hard things have been for me, even like my lack of like training and lack of like stuff. Just like it's a hard industry to figure out on your own.
Yeah. It comes from that Amazon lifestyle.
And it's just like I like do things that are maybe like beyond my job description because I care a lot, and like then that brings me out, and then I'm like failing my job description because I'm like today, like I like took someone who's like moving from a shelter into their own place, and I took shopping at like all these different places, and it was like I'm working an hour a week, and it was like 4 hours, and it's exhausting. But like, what am I gonna do? Say no? You know, like I don't know.
Yeah.
My boss has been helping me like figure that out a little bit.
Yeah, that's good to figure out and manage.
I feel like my therapists have been kind, like seeing me. Yeah, that's something like, yeah, that's probably one of the kinder things is just like being seen by someone, being seen by a therapist. It's been really nice.
Amen.
All right, I'll be right back. Gotta get another drink. Be right back. You eating oatmeal? I smell oatmeal. I'm gonna guess that's oatmeal.
Opium?
Oatmeal?
No.
Ah, all
Egg
right.
drop soup.
Ooh, this sounds nice.
Mm.
I just saw that my meditation bench just got here, so that's cool because my legs have been hurting in that half lotus pose. God damn.
Heck yeah.
All right, you ready for the next card?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Something that hurt me, but I didn't tell anyone. I gotta think of that answer too. We can also skip too if it's not your card.
Yeah, I think the fact that Angelica didn't hit me back up did upset me a little bit.
was dating this guy named Pedro for a while, last 2 years ago over the summer. And he like poured his heart out to me over text recently, and I like responded and was like, "Yo, like I've set up a new life with someone, but like definitely down to still be friends and like hang out." He never responded, and I get he's going through some stuff, but it's just like sucks to not get a response. Similar thing.
Yeah.
So that hurt a little bit.
Maybe I just need to post something then. You know.
Say it again.
I gotta post something on Instagram for my
You
like
gotta post
yearly
something on Instagram.
yearly Instagram post. No, I love how I use Instagram every day, but I haven't posted on it in like literally like months. Like why? But then again, like all the effort it takes to make an Instagram post is like a little bit ridiculous sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
So it should just be effortless. But even still, it's just like now I like try. I don't know. I have enough pictures. Just dazzle them. Just post some pictures. Like it used to be. When you just post fucking pictures.
Yeah, you gotta not overthink it.
It's not like every life event. It's not like Facebook. It was just like pictures of like selfie. Hey, me right now. Selfie. Or like actually a cool thing. Or like a big, I don't know, big post. That's my big posts too.
Are you ready for the next card?
Yes.
When I look in the mirror, the first thing I see.
Egg drop soup.
Ooh, nice. I like that.
My eyes. Eyes are the window to the soul. That's what they say.
That's what they say.
I believe it. You ever seen somebody's soul?
Can't say that I have.
Gay. I'm kidding.
Potentially.
No offense.
I feel like when I look in the mirror, I see someone who's like has a good heart and is trying, but like it's not always succeeding by other people's standards.
Oh, damn, boy. How do you want to feel? What do you want to see?
I think a lot of it comes down to like what I said earlier is like I feel like underutilized, and so like I like drink to cope with that. So I'm supposed to be starting this full-time job, and like it would be nice to feel more utilized. The busier you are, the more time you have. I think that would like really help with like my identity and security.
Yeah, and your maybe sense of satisfaction.
Yeah. And I don't know how much of that is like a male quality versus a human quality, but either way, it's relevant.
Yeah, they're both important.
But it's getting much more on track. Like when I look in the mirror, like it's so much better than it was like last year, or way better than the year before that. Like every year, it's exponentially. Like as authenticity increases, the self-love is way easier. So
Yeah, and again, we're climbing higher mountains. That's how I feel too.
and I think that like that's where self-love comes in, right? It's like the more that we push ourselves to do things that are like more authentic and fulfilling our potential, the easier it is to love ourselves. But if we like squander our life on the couch watching Netflix and eating ice cream, like it's hard to be proud of that and love that, you know?
Yeah, man.
All right, next card. You ready?
Yes.
The last time I felt free.
thinking about the last time that I went cold plunging in the waterfall up in Norfolk with my little brother. I brought him that time.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that felt like. That was pretty freedom.
I think for me it was like today on my run. I like do like one section of hills. It's 3 miles. Then I do another section of hills. It's 3 miles. Then I get to this point. It's like, okay, well, I can turn right and do another 3 miles, or turn left and go home. And just being able to make that decision about how hard I want to push myself and what kind of person I want to be and how much mastery I have over self is really freeing. I would say today. All right, next card. I finally have some clarity about.
But yeah, I've just like come to realize that it's not the size of my dick, but the size of my heart chakra that truly makes it massively swelling and just bulge.
It gets that flow down there, right? The size of that heart chakra. The more open it is, the bigger the pump.
It's just average with a little extra pump.
Jake just summed up all of Tantra in like one sentence.
So, thanks for helping me riff there. That was off the cuff, but
I love it. Something that I finally have clarity about is, I proposed to Mina, so it's my engagement ring. So I have clarity about that I want to spend the rest of my life.
congrats.
Yeah, this ring's super dope. It's
You got the
koa
surfer
wood.
ring.
It's koa wood, so it's like a local Hawaiian.
Cool.
It's
That's
really
cool.
curly. The curlier it is, the stronger it is.
Whoa.
Yeah, engagement ring, and then for the wedding band, I'm actually just gonna get a tattoo because I fucking hate wearing rings.
That's
So,
cool.
yeah. All right, next card. Where's upside down? Ooh, 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 ooh. A conversation I need to have with my parents.
I don't want to do too serious with this, but like, so I'm gonna go a different direction.
Okay, fair. I respect that.
I don't know.
I'm not condoning dosing your parents with mushrooms, but if you do, Nemo and the Mandelbrot set is a great lineup.
Is Nemo like a bad thing to do? Because the first time I did acid, I watched Nemo, or actually Finding Dory. That was. Did we watch? Yeah, we did. We did not watch Nemo. We watched Finding Dory. So like, I feel like Finding Dory was also like pretty good movie. Maybe not a mushroom movie. Finding Nemo, that's deep. That one was heavy. It was a lot.
Like mushrooms and Wally would be really trippy.
Yeah.
Or like the life of cats.
It's like the mycelium, or like like the life of Pi. That would slap.
That would slap. Or like My Octopus Teacher or The Life of Pi. Yeah, those are the two I would recommend.
Yeah, my Octopus Teacher just hits different.
The conversation I need to have with my parents is, I think with my dad, like I sent him a letter how upset I was at how he treated me when I lived with him. The conversation I need to have with him is like, look, I'm fine spending time with you now, but I'm gonna leave if you get the way that you've been. But I'm okay. I'm okay, like trying. So that's a conversation I need to have with him.
Yeah. Do you want to try? You said you're okay with it.
I feel like I could lead a long and happy life without him. But I recognize that it's important to him that he has connection with his only son that's left. And I could imagine how one day I might have regrets not being more proactive healing the relationship, even though I feel like he's the source of a lot of the toxicity. But if I'm trying to be the person I want to be and like transcend and like
Yeah, you gotta
grow
meet him. You gotta meet him where
spiritually,
he's at.
yeah, I
I
gotta
hear.
meet him where he's at. But I was too pissed for so long, and now I'm like less pissed. And I'm like, I could meet him where he's at. How pissed am I? Not very pissed, but there's still a little bit there.
Yeah,
So I think
yeah.
it's like you.
Maybe work with that a little more before you make the effort, because I think that's like the make or break there. That's like what the whole reason for it. You know, you don't want to go into it with the um kind of your subconscious or like kind of like having some other kind of conniving way out of it that like, oh, you can just all blame it on him at the
Yeah,
end
and
of the
that's why I
day.
took space, is because like if I can't be compassionate around him, like I'm not ready to be around him, you know. Um,
Amen.
because I don't want him to change my level of authenticity, and like the way that I want to meet with people in the world is compassionately. And if I'm angry at them, then that's just a flag of I have more work to do on myself, regardless of how they show up. So that's why I took some space from him.
Yeah, yeah. I think it does sound like it's really interesting. Just like connecting my experience to like, I feel like I went through a couple, especially in COVID, like a big journey of like real emotional sensitivity. And I was so mad at my parents. I was for sending me to the hospital. Um, and I just could not get over it. I swear to you, like I just could not get it. And even after that, for years, probably until like 2022, I probably still had shit that was pent up about our relationship and stuff that like went back to that. Um,
Well, it's hard because it's a huge betrayal, right? So that wound is very deep and will take a long
yeah,
time to heal.
yeah. For me, like my personal transformation came through the emotional maturity. I think of realizing that that was not betrayal. That was part of
Their
my
expression.
life in general, the plan for me, like what I needed to experience to go through, like realize my own spiritual power, which is like my own heart and my own love. And
Mm-hmm.
like once I had nothing else, I felt like except for that around me, and like, and it still was there. Um, and I found like compassion for myself, kind of that only really started to happen through like having compassion for my parents and the position they were in, and the position that they are in and how they were raised and all that is has nothing was not up to us, but they are our parents.
Mm.
So it's good for us to know and understand as much as we can, and like connect with them as much as we can, and um, in an authentic way, not like bullshitting them and being around for them and making them feel like, oh, their kid likes them and they could die happy because of that or whatever. Like, you know, to just to like speak your mind like you do, but to not let the emotions carry you in the moment at all out of the fact that you love them. Like to always keep it in that context when you're always have that in the back of your mind, like that's when the real connection happens. I feel like, and for the rest of my relationship with my parents, like the rest of the time that I don't spend doing that, I feel like is mostly just like a surface level wasted. Maybe not wasted, but just like a surface level interaction doesn't get any deeper, and it doesn't change anything in their lives and anything for them in their spirit. Um, just kind of a reflection of where I'm at, in a way.
I think it was the Dalai Lama who said, maybe it was Thich Nhat Hanh, but I think it was the Dalai Lama in the Book of Joy, like, do what you must do with another person, but like never put them out of your heart. And I think it was like bred out of the passage where he's talking about like one of his monks was placed in captivity by like the CCP, and his monk was like oh, I almost lost compassion for my captors, like after they were beating me and torturing me and drowning me in ice baths and stuff. Like I was scared, not because of what they were doing to me, but because I almost lost compassion for them. I
Yeah.
feel like that's what the standard or the goal should be, is like, to no matter what happens to you, like never put them and their experience out of your heart. But it's so much easier to say than to do. And that's an area
Yeah,
where,
I think a lot of the times we just get very caught up in things that aren't as important as we think they are in the moment.
yeah. Or for me, it's like a lot of my tension with my parents is like, I was so resentful and angry when I was a kid because I felt like I'd been mistreated and wronged so much that I was like, I made a pact with myself to like never forget what happened, and to, for the adult version of myself to always like take vengeance on my parents for what happened. And like the more that I've grown and matured, it's like, yeah, that's like in some ideas like a justified route, but that's not going to lead to the outcomes that I hold sacred and ethical, you know? So it's
Yeah,
like,
man, you don't have to hold on to a pact that you made, whether it was a pact that you made with yourself when you were a kid, or a pact that you made with in your mind implicitly, potentially with other people at the triangle when you were fucking 21 or whatever.
yeah,
You
because like
know.
you can go back as like an adult and like hold the hand of that inner child and like help them through that experience instead of like crushing their and vanquishing their enemies. You know, like
Yeah, no, exactly.
the
That's what.
work.
Yeah, that's what the IFS work is all about, and that's one experience that I had with my heart that I'll share with you. Um, that was very powerful. Starting with like IFS with one of my first sessions with my therapist,
Mm-hmm.
um, where I like went inside and my heart was like me as like a I think 6 year old standing in the like walkway up to our house, up in Torrington, Connecticut, when we're still living like in the city most of the year. Um, came up on the weekends, and my dad finally had come up for. It was weird. It was this weird ethereal place where he had both just come up for the summer and was ready to leave too.
Hmm.
At the same, like it was this weird moment of limbo of
Like
me
he was like he was
waiting
over
for my
it.
dad in
He was like,
this in this place, but instead of him, I was there,
hmm.
and I remember hugging my dad in that moment, and like hugging myself during that interaction as like a 6 or 7 year old was like so profound, and like yeah, it was all about just me wanting my dad to be there because I was scared, and like he was like comfort. And I still am scared. And like in a lot of ways he's so deeply comfort, but he's way less comfort to me, um in like a real physical practical way.
When's the last time you guys hugged?
Pretty often. I'll hug him again.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. um yeah, just like I don't know, like I just know that like I'm like he can't protect me any more than I can protect myself at
Mm.
this point in my life. Like that's a different experience than being like a feeling like a helpless 7-year-old. I also had this thing in IFS come up where I remembered getting snatched, like at the subway.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
scary.
My dad was like doing tug of war with me. It's like that was really intense, and we didn't talk about it. I think in the memory afterwards, I asked him about it, and he said he didn't remember.
Mm. It's scary.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty crazy. So yeah, like some maybe hidden trauma there. Like I have no reason to doubt that happened, or at least was traumatized enough by it to have that memory. Like I knew too that was a memory that I had for a little while. Like I held on to it. If it was a dream, it was really visceral and really fucked me up at the time. But if not, like. Either way, learn something from it, huh?
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
It's like a tarot card. Like either way, it teaches you something about yourself.
What is life?
What tarot card?
Well, just either way, it teaches you something about yourself.
Yeah.
What else?
Let me go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. Okay.
Cool. Sounds good. Yeah. Out here in the wintertime. Guess it's getting a little warmer. But the rain clouds splinter and the hail comes swarming. Yeah, you know I got a lot of what? A lot of stars in the night sky. Can only see a few in my view, but if I step a few steps outside, yeah, I might die. And resurrect up to the clouds and see the night sky.
All right.
Yo, he's back.
I wish people would introduce me by talking about blank rather than blank.
Man, it'd be cool for people to introduce me as like a regenerative farmer, or like even maybe a pioneer in regenerative farming, because I've got some pretty exciting thoughts and ideas, and I'm doing some cool stuff that's like pretty new in general for at least like the Western world to see where we're living at. Certainly in Connecticut, natural farming, and less like, I don't know. How else do people introduce me that I don't like? I don't know, maybe not the spliff thing. Like,
For that.
just like smoke all the time, smoke spliffs all the time.
Mm.
So it's pretty honest.
So you would rather people not introduce you as somebody who smokes spliffs all the time, but as someone who focuses like on regenerative farming?
Yeah.
Mm. I feel like for me, I wish people would introduce me by talking about like who I am as a person and how I hold space for people and interact with people, and
Yeah.
rather than like,
I'd love for people to introduce me like that. That'd be crazy cool.
yeah, like just like who I am spiritually and like how I like show up for people. And like I feel like I get a lot of hate for like my social identifiers. So like
Yeah.
rather than like a cis white
I
male.
like that. I introduced you to people definitely in general, like with that vibe of like, this is Will. He's a great dude, like in a really sincere way, like really supportive. Started my men's support group,
Yeah, I appreciate that because I
men's
feel like
peer support group. Yeah,
I've gotten a
like
lot of shit for things that are
that's
outside of my
you.
control. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's really what it comes down to. Damn, is like I would rather be introduced in a way that like highlights things that are in my control and not highlights things that are outside of my control. Now, I've answered this question before, but like that's the core of what it is.
yeah,
Because I can't control the settings I was born into, or like my DNA or my family, but I can control how I like show up and how I treat people and how I try to like change the world for like the greater good.
yeah. Amen, man.
Yeah, like I just want to be empowered.
Yeah,
My
shit.
introduction, you know, because I feel
Yeah,
so disempowered in the way that people introduce me. And
huh?
it's really draining and exhausting. Huh, that's some clarity. I've never gotten that clarity in that card before. I like that card.
That's dope.
Okay. Text message I regret sending.
Ha, the one I sent to Angelica, but
Mm.
among fucking so many others. Oh God.
Do you regret sending that one, or do you just like
I
hit
really,
send?
truly regret sending that one.
Really
Yeah,
sad,
it
dude.
doesn't align at all with what I actually like understand. I think about the universe now. Like
In what way?
maybe it was like aligned with a part of my views on like violence and like killing people, but it was just like so out there, misinformed. It was really completely just a delusion fueled by the fact that like I thought I had a new girlfriend,
Oh,
and I was like kind of
you're
like breaking up with her like anyway. Like I was kind of giving a reason, and it was weird because I never told her this, but like I had before thought about like, man, this is like the type of girl I want to marry, and I was so young, obviously at the time, you know, like 19.
yeah.
Um, so
You're talking
yeah,
about
no, I thought I found met this other girl basically, and like, and that was like a way for me to put that out there to her was a way for me to like excuse, like having to sit with that regret in a way. Like I shouldn't. I think I knew how it would land in a lot of ways, and I sent it like really on a just like totally on a whim. Like I wrote it up and sent it. You know.
So you're not talking about your most recent text to her. You're talking about the first text that was like criticizing her for some of the stuff.
Being in the Air Force.
Yeah.
I like morally reprimanded her for being in the Air Force
Yeah.
and like said that like she's gonna drop bombs on people and shit. And she was like, she's also like, she is. She told me, dude, in like pillow talk, one night that she slept out with the homeless people in Puerto Rico.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, for 3 nights.
Hmm. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, man. Like, who? I can't believe I said that. So, yeah, I could have fucked it all up being young and stupid, and like maybe there's a lesson to learn right there.
Yeah, I mean, like we all say dumb shit when we're young and fucked up, right? Like, and I think like.
Well, also, I had just got back from. I
Greece,
just got
right?
back from Greece, and I thought I was all enlightened and shit, and like, my God. So I was all self-righteous and shit.
It reminds me of that text that Ethan put in the group chat one time in the men's group chat. It's like it was a picture of a little knight facing like a much bigger god level knight, and it was like the little knight was like the ego, and the god level knight was dissolving the ego. And it's like there's so much egoism in dissolving the ego. Like it was such a good meme. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Because then you become this whole holier than thou type thing.
Dude, it's so bad.
It's so real though. But you
I
know,
feel
like
it. I feel it every day. It's so awful.
it's better to go through that when you're like in your 19 and 20s than when you're like 40 or 50.
Yeah.
Because that's a real trap that I see a lot of people fall into. Is the holier
Yeah,
than.
man, dude, I battle it every day. Like I said, I still feel it. I feel the guilt of that. That's like a thing I need to let go, you know. But I need to also like continue on the path and trust myself that I'm not going to fall into that bullshit and to keep myself in check.
Yeah.
Because that's what we all got to do. Because this fucking dude, that's like the source of all of our problems in a pretty serious way.
What is the holier than thou complex?
Yeah.
In the, like the sense that it's like tied to egoism and attachment, or like in what sense?
Yeah, tied to egoism and attachment.
What's the point in like going down the path? What's the point in going down the emotional side quest? Not the emotional
side quest or the path?
What's the point in going down the main quest? Like the path.
The path.
Like
What
what's
is
the
the
point in
point
going down
of
the
going
path?
down the path?
Yeah. Like why?
It's gotta be a liberation from suffering for me. I think that like are other ways to put it maybe, but
Can you not liberate your suffering through
of all suffering, period.
So it's interesting because when like I don't say you in terms of Jacob, I say you in terms of just people. When someone becomes like in the holier than thou complex, it's like, well, I'm like closer to eliminating suffering than you are, so blah 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 blah. But it's like, isn't the path to be compassionate towards all people in their suffering and like helping everyone get out of
Yeah,
it?
they're just liberating themselves from their own suffering.
Yeah. It's not a competition between like I've liberated more suffering than you have. Like
self-righteous way.
shouldn't it be like, damn, dude, we're both suffering. Like I'm rooting for you and rooting for me. Like let's work together and do this.
Yeah, and I mean, think of anything else that people do that's kind of. And think of anything else bad that people do that isn't like rooted in that mindset. That challenge you to come up with something. Because like the example is one thing is like tax fraud or like tax placement of like the offshore money and all that. How rich people just like move their money around and shit. And there's like different degrees to which that's like atrocious. But like even just for any general rich person to like spend a bunch of money on a tax attorney just to do that, to save an extra $1 million. And they have millions and millions and millions of dollars already. And like for people like that, or like all kinds of people, just to do that and be like, I'm doing it because I'm better than everybody. I've got the money. I'm smarter than everybody. I'm beating the system. I'm you know.
Well, having a holier than thou complex is like a way to fight back against that, because like maybe I don't have your money, but like I can act in right action more than you can, or I can like work on my virtues more than you will because you're rich, so you're distracted in all these ways by all these meaningless things, and like I'm focused on things that are more spiritual and that matter more. Do you feel like that
Yeah,
comes up?
I could have that orientation. Certainly, I could see that.
It's like a way to
Like
like
feeling
flip.
that way about people.
Yeah, you can flip the power structure by doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. That all they have is greed to hold on to. They've got nothing else.
Well, and
And
that's like
a lot of these people, you don't like. I don't know everybody's story, but a lot of people are like that, and frankly, a lot of people are just like, even good people are just like they'll do shit like that because they think like everyone else is doing it or whatever.
I think it kind of comes down to like Nietzsche's like master versus slave morality. Like the slave morality is, oh, well, we can only do like we don't have the power to be like the masters who treat people poorly and benefit from it. So like let's treat people benevolently and like treat them well, and we'll create that as a virtue. But it's because it's all that we're capable of. Versus the master, like it's so interesting. Like the mastermind, like morality is like if you have money, fame, and power, how do you treat people? And like one of these kids on the GW soccer team, he was a billionaire. His name is Max Lerner. His dad owned the Cleveland Browns and I want to say Aston Villa, but I could be wrong on Aston Villa. One of the major MLS teams, or one of the major like Premier League teams. Um, he was like one of the nicest kids on the team. Like he treated everyone so well. He like was really respectful. But for me, like he passes that like that master morality complex because he had everything and was so nice to people.
Yeah.
He didn't have to be. It wasn't because he had to be. It's because he chose to be.
Yeah, that's sick. I mean, to live that life too, like that's the type of confidence you'd hope that someone would use. Like that really shows like he stepped up to the plate because it's a hard situation to be in, and like to be confident enough to like be really nice to people, like them knowing all this information about you and thinking some sort of way about you, but like instead of like being all in your head about that or like thinking having some sort of superiority complex, like just being a good person and knowing that like everything that is in your life is taken care of for you, basically. So
Yeah.
like you don't need to worry really about anything. Like in terms of the future and so much as like how where you're gonna sleep and eat and all of that type of thing.
Mm.
Like
Yeah, like
you got options.
it's not a out of pity either, which is really nice.
Yeah, yeah, no, to just like know that that's what the reality of your life, and like to take comfort in that, but at the same time to recognize that like life and people is totally different, and like everyone being seeing everyone's worthy of respect and love and like appreciation.
Mm.
What it is?
You ready for the next card?
Yes.
I would love to show blank who I've become.
Well, one name's been coming up a lot, but
Oh yeah, the girl, right? You
yeah,
said
but
yeah.
um, I think. Um, My grandma's.
Mm.
That's a good one. That's a good answer. They're both very cool in their own way. It would be interesting to hang out with them when they were like maybe a little bit younger. Or like maybe when they were my grandma's still. But, you know, I was a little bit younger, that kind of time frame. It's interesting. Maybe a little both.
I think for me, like, I would love to have shown my brother who I've become, because I think he was like, there was a lot going on with him, and I feel like some of my qualities have developed because of seeing some of his mistakes. And I feel like if we were able to spend time together, like at this point in my life, maybe I would have given him more. Maybe I would have been more of a role model on how he could have lived his truth and not have to modify himself to like satisfy other people.
How did he die?
Overdose. He would like get his prescription and then sell it on the street and then buy like stuff that was cut for less. But he was like, I don't know, he was like living with a guy and like in like a homosexual relationship for a long time. But I think like in denial about it, and his family was certainly in denial about it. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Dealt with like substance abuse, and I've dealt with like being bi, and like I feel like I could be more of a role model to him if he was still here, because he's full of a lot of shame, I think, and like that's just unfortunate. But that opportunity passed, so this is what it is. All right, next card. I would never forgive you if.
In the words of Riff Raff, if you fuck up my funds, we can never be friends again. Never try to reprimand the Cinnamon Sandman.
Fair.
I don't know, Will. You have to fuck up pretty damn bad to get on my bad side. I think I have forgiveness in my heart for you, no matter what you do. Even if we couldn't be friends again, I'd still love you.
I feel like that's kind of my answer too, is like to say I would never forgive you if is to limit my ability to heal and to accept and to love and welcome another. And I'm not willing to limit myself in those ways because that doesn't align with my values.
Yeah, man. The dark humor is coming to me, but
let it out, bro. That's what this shit's for. Let's go.
Well, if I fuck your wife at your wedding.
I mean, we are ENM, but you have to get her consent. This is the only
thing. Okay.
I would take it as a compliment because she's gorgeous. Anyways. All right, last one of the night. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
something people often misunderstand about me is
I'm a spiritual guy. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I'm looking at people, no matter who it is. Sometimes I'm looking at you and I'm like thinking about God and like thinking about like myself in the universe and the power and like what I am like searching. You know, through the soul, through whatever you want to call it. So many means, so many layers, energies. It's all one thing. I'm thinking about that. I'm just like looking at you. And then thinking about how you're me. And it's just like a Wednesday. So I wish more people knew that. And I know it's kind of hard because, like, to get to the point of the thoughts that I'm having, you need some backstory. Like, you're gonna need to do probably a little bit of reading, a couple audiobooks, at least maybe a little breath work, a couple rounds of Wim Hof, and you'll get it or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like some people just like don't even think deeply about that their whole lives, and
the NPCs.
that's no, but not at all, dude. They're just like that's a thing.
It's you. It's me.
Yeah, it's exactly. Like you see it so clear. It's a sign, and it's like, yeah, you meet them with compassion, and they receive what they can.
Not every incarnation is meant to reach different levels.
That's egotistical of you.
Think so?
I think any frog can fucking reach enlightenment. They really try, even if they have Down syndrome.
Doesn't it say like in the literature that I don't know, man.
Is that people with Down syndrome can't be master Buddhas?
No, I don't think it says that. But I think if you just like look at human experience, like there's some people who are born into certain settings in which like clearly they're not going to find like religion or God or ethics or values or a capacity to help and heal. They're going to find destruction and hatred and revenge and resentment because that's what they're.
Well, they live their life like it's a dream that they didn't wake up from.
Yeah, and some that are like not allowed to find higher vibrations, but it's like their situation and conditions aren't facilitating that for them in this incarnation. Surprise laugh.
People also have like I don't know, usually a couple experiences that are pretty powerful in their lives. That like it's like that kind of thing. It's like moments when you could have gone one way, could have gone the other. Or like you failed to see the signs, or like whatever it happens to be for different people.
But a lot of lives that have come before us are like dramatically shorter. Like the age expectancy was like what 30, 35, and so I feel like
I mean, yeah, I feel like for at least every good fate, or like at least every worthwhile journey path, is another path that splits off. That's like the journey lost or missed.
100% agree with that. I feel like that's a really good way to put it.
And those journeys have many paths and many outcomes and stuff, but the main journey, but I feel like equally there's that missed path and like what happens with it, and it always kind of ends up being the missed path no matter what, by definition. But like in what form, in what sense in each life is it the missed path? Could it be a very successful life or even a fulfilling life and still is the missed path?
I think that's very possible, for reasons that I don't have time to get into.
Me too.
All right, last card. I would sell everything I have to be able to blank.
Oh, motherfucker. To do it all again.
How would you do it all again?
The exact same way I did it the first time.
Re-experiencing.
End up right fucking here where I am. I'd be a bitch. Not looking forward to it. But yet here I am. You know? I'd sell it all to blank. To fucking... I was thinking about jerking off, but then I was like... Let's do it again, yeah. Dude, I can't even actually think of anything that I wouldn't trade all of my stuff for, other than like an actual trade up in value, which is kind of not a really fair way to answer that question.
I mean, I feel like that's good. That means you're on the right track, right? Like, if you wouldn't trade your shit for anything in the world, like, it's where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, you'd have to give me a pretty sweet position. You have to be doing something pretty fucking dope somewhere.
That's good. Reflect on that.
Yeah.
Like, that's a good feedback.
A lot of power. A lot of moolah.
I feel like for me, I would sell everything that I have to be able to, like, go on
To what?
To be able to, like, go on a journey to, like, a far off place, experience, like, being homeless and needing and wanting and not being comfortable. Like, the aesthetic life would be great. Like,
I'd teach you more astral projection. We're gonna learn together.
I think that'd be great. Yeah, I'd love to, like, find.
You're gonna learn how to do it.
Yeah, I'd love to find like a guru, like abroad. It's tough because scams, but like,
dude, me too. Me too. I've been asking for a guru. Yeah. Just gotta have them internet gurus till then, but they're pretty good nowadays. They got some good. All the actual fire gurus got on the internet. They're like, oh shit. Once India got the internet, bro, and China, or maybe not. I don't know. Everyone in China just fucking writes in Chinese, so I can't read that shit. I don't know about you, but
That's why you gotta go. You gotta learn the language. You gotta
learn the language. I was a Chinese girl at one point. That's why I think astral projection is helpful.
Yeah, I think I was a Viking, and I think I was a lot of other things.
A Viking.
Yeah, definitely. Like, yeah, I think it was like a feminine figure in a lot of different lives in a lot of different ways.
Whoa, yeah. I was gonna say a female Viking. Crazy.
I feel like I was like an ascetic. I feel like I was like a meditator. I feel like I was a traveler. That's a whole nother podcast and conversation.
That's cool. Yeah, you can channel that and experience the life.
It's interesting, like where the core of authenticity lies, because it's not always within like this lived experience. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it's like the feeling of authenticity like lies within another perceived experience that somehow echoes in my existence.
Yeah, the more you get in touch with that, the more it becomes the barriers begin to break down. I think.
Really interesting. There's this book called Many Lives, Many Masters that my dad gave me, and I want to read it. It's about past lives. And whether it's true or whether it's a metaphor, it's kind of irrelevant. It's just helpful. You want to pull a tarot card before we end?
Yeah, I kind of do.
Okay.
I certainly believe in it.
Right. I just got to shuffle real quick. All right. This is the deck.
Give me the third from the top. 1, 2, and 3.
3. You want
Yes,
the third
I want.
this one.
Yeah, that one.
The riddle.
Yo, no way.
All right. Let's pull it. Hold on a second.
The triquetra.
All right, pull it.
What the fuck, dude?
Wait. Before you go all in, wait.
That's a cool card. The riddle.
171.
I'm like the Riddler. Like the bad guy. I'm the Riddler.
All right. Read it. The riddle, the puzzle, the question, the mystery. When the riddle is present, one must stop searching for the right answer. It cannot be found, and ultimately, it is not important. Rather, there must be a shift from the literal to the metaphorical, from logic to the mythic. You are thinking too small and literally about the situation. The riddle card appears when the energy is deep and mysterious, like the elusive wisdom of a Zen koan. Focusing harder won't do it. Neither will increased effort. Time, surrender, and humor are your only allies. What feels like the most pressing dilemma won't reveal its deeper wisdom for a long time. Eventually, you'll learn a profound lesson from the riddle. For now, get comfortable with the limitations of your intellect and the reality of not knowing. It may, in fact, be the only reality that there is. Who am I? The only way to work with the riddle successfully is to not work. Ponder these koans. The coin that's lost in the river is found in the river. If you meet the Buddha, kill the Buddha. When light, the riddle is a great awakening or aha moment. When dark, it is manipulation, deceit, and trickery.
When light is what?
A great awakening or aha moment.
Interesting. Interesting, Paul. The riddle. What do you think about the riddle?
In terms of me or you?
Me? Obviously, nobody asked you.
Searching is the answer. The riddle's where you're meant to be. It's in the questioning. It's not in the answers. You're not meant to have an answer right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of doing that. Kind of.
You're meant to ask the
I'm
question.
meant to not. Yeah, to ask the question, and just let it be heard. Let the echo reverberate throughout space and time in the universe until the answer comes to me.
And also, like, be able to bask in the uncertainty, because I feel like that's a very essential skill and a mark of resilience that a lot of people don't love, because it's like, oh, we want an answer, we want it to be comfortable. But
I like to be I feel like I'm basking right now. I feel like I should have fun tomorrow. I feel like that would be a good idea. So I should have friends in the vicinity. And my vibrational field intersect with their field for prolonged contact.
Field cross stitch.
Field crossing.
I'm about to go intersect with some pizza.
Oh man, lucky ducker. Yeah. I'm this close to fucking putting a pizza in the oven. I swear to God.
Do it.
God damn. You know it's 2:30 in the morning here, but I guess it's whatever. I'm an adult. Yeah. I'm 24 years old. I'm only 24. That's pretty crazy.
That is kind of crazy.
Flex. Humble flex.
I feel like you're asking the right questions for 24, and I feel like I'm asking the right questions for 26.
Yeah, so I agree. I fucking definitely agree with you. Yeah, everybody has their days. Everybody has their days. That's all I can think about right now.
All right, Jake. I love you, man. I
Dude, this is fun. Thanks for hitting me up on this. On these Friday nights. It's fun, yeah.
For sure.
I'm crushing it. There's some good stuff in there. I feel like some gold.
Yeah.
Some terrible shots of me.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, go enjoy that. Fuck around with that, I guess.
All right, Doug.
This will be good. Enjoy the pizza.
Love you.
Peace. Dreams.
Thank you for joining me in my conversation with Jacob Honig. And now I'll leave you with a few words from one of Jake and I's most favorite thinkers, Lex Friedman. Most of the people who have ever lived are forgotten. Most of us alive today will be forgotten. The lasting impact we have is through our connection to other human beings, through friendship, parenting, mentorship, friendly competition, collaboration, and love. I hope you picked up some useful experience points on this emotional side quest that you can take back with you and better navigate your main quest. I love you all, and I'm so genuinely excited to see what kind of amazing adventurers you become. Aloha.